This person who haunts your thoughts, this presence that embeds itself in your mind uninvited. You might think it's harmless, a simple distraction, or even an embarrassing obsession. But what if I told you it's none of those things? What if I told you that your mind, in its infinite wisdom, is desperately trying to send you a crucial message, a message about yourself? Carl Jung, that pioneer of the depths of the soul, taught us that these persistent thoughts are not random. They are an echo, a resonance coming from the far reaches of our being, a call from our unconscious mind. Imagine, if you will, that your conscious mind, the one you operate with every day, is merely the top of a majestic tree, its visible part dancing in the wind. But its roots plunge deep into the nourishing soil of the unconscious. It's there, in this subterranean realm, that our true stories unfold. Hidden there are our most silent desires, our most archaic fears, our emotions still vibrant from past experiences. But also, and this is fundamental, our brightest potentials, our dormant strengths. Energetic ties, subtle yet powerful, are also woven in this dimension, connecting us to other souls, to places, to moments. These connections, often formed without our knowledge or during states of great emotional intensity, continue to emit a frequency, a vibration that can influence the course of our thoughts and the color of our emotions. So, when a person persistently occupies your mental field, it's your unconscious, this guardian of your wholeness, sending you a call to awaken, to look more closely at what's happening within you, to recognize a part of yourself that asks to be understood, integrated, or released. It's not always the person themselves who is the main subject, but what they awaken in you, the door they open to your own inner landscape. This isn't just a simple mental distraction. This saturation you might feel, this whirlwind of thoughts that constantly brings you back to this other person. You might feel like you're carrying a weight that isn't yours, overflowing with a diffuse anxiety. It's your subtle perception system, your inner radar, as Jung called it, working at full capacity. This emotional hypervigilance, this ability to sense atmospheres, unspoken words, surrounding energies, sometimes to the point of exhaustion, is a precious sensitivity. It makes you capable of capturing the whispers of the soul, yours, and those around you. These thoughts that seem to invade you are actually messengers. They urge you to stop, to listen to that inner silence where answers lie, to dive into deep feeling to discern the true information. Far from being a weakness, this permeability is a strength that, once understood and mastered, becomes a powerful tool for self-knowledge and alignment. Jung introduced the fundamental concept of the shadow, das Schatten. The shadow isn't necessarily bad or negative. It's simply the sum of everything we've chosen, consciously or unconsciously, not to be, not to show, not to recognize in ourselves. It harbors traits deemed unacceptable by our social circle, or ourselves, our repressed instincts, our neglected talents, our hidden vulnerabilities, but also, and this is an immense source of power, our luminous qualities that we don't yet dare to embody, for fear of judgment, failure, or even our own greatness. The person obsessing your thoughts often acts as a perfect mirror of this shadow. If they profoundly irritate you with certain traits, it's highly probable that these traits exist within you, perhaps latently or expressed differently, and you're fighting against them. If, on the contrary, you admire them to the point of idealization, they are showing you qualities you already possess embryonically, but haven't yet had the courage to develop and offer to the world. The invitation, then, is to stop projecting this light or darkness externally, and to reintegrate it. Acknowledging this too is me is an act of courage that leads to greater completeness, to healing the wounds that initially led to this repression. Integrating your shadow isn't about becoming perfect, it's about becoming whole. Therein lies a part of your inner sovereignty. Let's delve deeper with the anima and animus, these archetypes of the inner feminine in men and the inner masculine in women. The anima in men carries qualities like intuition, the ability to connect, sensitivity, and receptivity. The animus in women embodies logic, courage, assertiveness, and the ability to structure. These inner figures are not monolithic. They evolve, develop, and their harmonious integration is key to profound psychological balance and fulfilling relationships. When you constantly think about someone, ask yourself if they aren't powerfully activating your anima or animus. Perhaps you idealize this person because they seem to perfectly embody the qualities of your still immature or unrecognized inner archetype.
For example, a man with an underdeveloped anima might be fascinated by a very emotionally expressive woman, projecting onto her his own capacity to feel, still undeveloped. A woman with a rigid or critical animus might be constantly annoyed or attracted to men who challenge her fixed opinions because they disrupt her need for control. These recurring thoughts are then a signal. It's time to consciously develop these qualities within yourself.
To dialogue with this feminine or masculine part of your being, so you no longer need to desperately seek it or fight it in another. It's about recognizing the vibrational resonance, the specific frequency this person awakens in you, and understanding that this frequency is part of your own inner symphony, asking to be played more consciously. All this inevitably leads us to the mechanism of projection, so dear to Jung. Most of us are born projectors. We constantly clothe others with our own psychic content, our expectations, judgments, disappointed hopes, past loves, unacknowledged qualities. The other person becomes a blank screen onto which we project the movie of our inner world. Why do we do this? Often as a defense mechanism, to avoid facing uncomfortable aspects of ourselves, or simply because it's how we try to understand ourselves, by seeing our reflections in the mirror of others. Thinking obsessively about someone is often a sign of massive projection. A significant part of your psychic energy, your emotions, your values, is attributed to this person. The danger is living in an illusion, building relationships on misunderstandings, and feeling powerless against emotions that seem provoked by the other, but actually take root within us. The work then consists of retrieving your hooks, consciously taking back what belongs to you. Every time you identify a projection, I see him, her as this or that, ask yourself, what if this quality, this flaw, this desire was first in me? What does that say about me? By reclaiming these projections, you recover a phenomenal amount of vital energy. You clarify your relationships, and above all, you strengthen your inner power, your ability to be the center of your own experience. And then, there's the magic of synchronicity. This term, coined by Jung, refers to those meaningful coincidences, those moments when your inner state seems to be inexplicably reflected in the outer world. You're thinking intensely about this person, and they send you a message at that very moment. You're pondering a deep question about them, and you stumble upon a book or a conversation that offers an unexpected answer. These synchronicities are not mere chance for Jung, but manifestations of the unus mundus, the unified world where psyche and matter are interconnected. They are winks from the universe, signs from your inner guidance confirming you're on an important track. They show you that your thoughts, charged with energy and frequency, have an impact, that they resonate with the broader field of consciousness. The law of vibration, dear to modern spirituality, tells us that we attract what vibrates at the same frequency as us. These persistent thoughts, by modifying your frequency, can indeed catalyze external events that seem to echo them. Pay attention to these signs. Welcome them not with superstition, but with the curiosity of a researcher. They are often there to encourage you to continue your inner exploration, to remind you that you're not alone in this quest for meaning, and that your inner alignment can truly shape your reality. So, practically speaking, how can you transform this rumination into a true path of self-awareness? There's a process, a journey you can undertake. Firstly, become a meticulous observer of your emotions. When this person pops into your thoughts, stop for a moment, breathe, and dive in. What's the primary emotion that emerges? Is it a wave of nostalgia, a hint of bitterness, a surge of hope, a dull irritation, blissful admiration, a sudden fear? Don't settle for the first word that comes to mind. Explore the nuances. Perhaps there's a mix of emotions. Keep a journal if it helps, to track these feelings. Locate them in your body. That tightening in your throat, that solar plexus contracting, that racing heart, or conversely, that warmth spreading through you. Your body is the repository of your emotional truth. It never lies. Welcome everything without judgment, like a scientist observing a fascinating phenomenon. Secondly, engage in a deep and honest analysis of the meaning behind these emotions and thoughts. This is where Jungian concepts become your allies. If you feel excessive admiration, ask yourself, what qualities of my animus anima or my luminous shadow am I projecting onto this person? How can I start embodying these qualities myself? If it's anger or resentment, what old wound is this person reactivating in me? What aspect of my shadow, which I might also see in them, are they refusing to acknowledge within themselves? If it's a feeling of lack or romantic idealization, what fundamental need, security, recognition, love, is this thought trying to fulfill? How can I learn to give this to myself before expecting it from the outside? Question the energetic tie. Does this connection nourish me or drain me? Is it time to cut some cords to reclaim my full energy? This phase is true soul archaeology. Thirdly, and this is the step towards transformation, use each realization as a catalyst for your growth. The goal isn't just to understand why you think about someone, but to use that understanding to become more yourself. If you discover a projection, actively work to withdraw it. If you identify a wound, commit to a healing process, therapy, energy practices, writing. If you recognize an untapped potential, find concrete ways to develop it. It's an active path towards greater alignment where your thoughts, emotions, words, and actions become increasingly coherent with your deep values and essence. It's about reclaiming your inner sovereignty, that place within you where you no longer passively endure your thoughts but use them as tools to sculpt your life. You will then discover a peaceful detachment, not indifference, but freedom from the emotional grip of these thoughts. Ultimately, this person who populates your thoughts may not be the problem, but the key. They are the finger pointing to a moon of inner wisdom. By ceasing to see these thoughts as a mere sterile obsession or a weakness, you transform them into a sacred invitation to explore the vast expanses of your unconscious. Each thought becomes an opportunity to unearth a hidden treasure, heal an old scar, awaken a dormant strength. It's a demanding path, yes, but an incredibly rewarding one, leading to deeper self-knowledge, more authentic relationships, and lasting fulfillment. You learn to decode the symbolic language of your soul, to trust this inner guidance that speaks to you through these mental echoes. Don't run from these thoughts anymore. Don't fight them. Welcome them as precious guides. Ask them gently and with curiosity. What vital message do you have for me today? What part of my being is calling for my attention, my compassion, my courage? If you feel called to answer this call, to dive into this exploration, to unleash the brightest version of yourself, then write, "My soul is my guide," in the comments. Join our community of consciousness explorers by subscribing, as other revelations await you. And if this message resonates with you, share it, because many are wandering, haunted by their thoughts, unaware that they are the doorway to their own light. Remember this, like an enduring breath of truth, the answer you so ardently seek outside, peace, understanding, love, all of it already resides within you, patiently waiting in the silence of your being. These thoughts are merely the invitation to turn your gaze inward. Dare to answer this call.